Hello everyone. Okay, so this video is for my friend because she wants to learn. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna zoom in a little bit so that the mess is a little bit gone. I have a lot of projects going right now. We have a lot going on, so ignore that. I cleared this mat for you specifically for this video, so here we go. I will have more art videos up in the future, but anyways, today we're gonna learn how to tat. So my friend wanted me to make a video to teach her how to tat, so that's why this exists. So there's lots of other videos out there on this. I might link some other creators who are helpful if I have the energy in the description. I'm going to do very basic techniques for now. We'll just start with rings and chains. So to start out, I have, this is a Starlet Shuttle. This is pretty big. There are other shuttles. Hobby Lobby used to have these, but I think they are slowly getting rid of their tatting stuff. So they do have these. Ooh, lovely. This one's a Cellmate, which really just looks like a Lasses shuttle that Hobby Lobby rebranded and sells as their own brand. That's not confirmed. That's my own hypothesis or something. So, like, they put this in their own packaging, Hobby Lobby does, and sells it as their own. So, but not as like a Lasses Cellmate shuttle. Well, that's what it is. Anyways, irrelevant. And then this one's kind of big. So I don't mind bigger shuttles, even with my small hands. So it's really up to you what size shuttle you want and whatever. But you can also make one out of cardboard and whatever. Anyways, I'll probably just give you one. And then there are some like this that are Celtic Shuttles. And these have a different purpose, which we won't get into. But you could make one that's like this but bigger, but just has two ends to wrap string around. As long as you can wrap string around it, you can use it. So this is size 10 crochet thread, and we're using the variegated I don't know I don't know how to say it, but the one with different colors, because it's easier to see the knot and how it flips. So this is how I hold my shuttle. And I've seen people do it in lots and lots of different ways. So I will show kind of like the most common. I can't get the hang of it, but any tatting video you watch, you'll probably see them holding their shuttle in a different way. So the first thing you do is you can either hold it with your pointer and go like this, which I do not like at all. Okay, so I hold it with my thumb and middle finger, wrap it around. Okay, just like this. So this finger right here controls the tension, and the pinky does as well. So this is kind of how my hand looks while I'm tatting. So I like a lot of thread right here. Let me move it in maybe so that you can see my hand motions better. So we're gonna start off with a ring. Most of tatting is comprised of rings and chains. Okay, so actually I'm gonna zoom out. Let me fix my camera again. You can see my background taped. Anyways, so take this hand. This is where I like my thread coming out of the bottom, like this. That's where I like it, where I like my thread coming out of. Some people like it coming out of the top. I don't. I've tried it. This is the most comfortable for me. So you're going to take your hand and turn it like that. Okay? towards you and then away from you, right? Towards you, then away from you. Okay. And then you're going to pass the shuttle under the thread. Okay. Under the thread and then over and through the string on your hand. So now this is what you have. So what we need to do is we need to flip this knot. So right now this string connected to our shuttle is the one making the knot. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull tight on this string and we're going to loosen up on this one. What that will do is that will make it so that this one, we're basically forming a slip knot on our shuttle thread. Okay, so let me zoom in so you can see the knot flip. So we're going to pull this. Okay, let me zoom out so you can see it flip, and it's easier to see with the different colored thread. That's why I would recommend it for starters. So if we tighten our hand thread, it'll flip back. This is what we don't want. We don't want the shuttle thread doing this. Okay, and if we pull the shuttle thread, loosen this one, pull the shuttle thread. Normally I just pull the shuttle. Okay, that's the first half of the knot. You want to make sure it's this thread that's making the knot. Okay, so now for the second half of this stitch, what you're going to do is turn it up towards you like this. So for the first one we did this, away from you, and now we're going to go up. And that's literally, it's all, look at the flick of the wrist. Okay, this is what we do. And then once you're here, you go down and through that thread that was on your hand. So we have the same thing as we did before. We have this little knot with the shuttle thread. So to switch it, I'm going to loosen up on this finger and pull the shuttle tight, and then the knot's flipped, and then I move my pointer finger to move the knot down. This is what we have. Okay. This is right. This is correct. And how you can tell while you're tatting if you flipped the knot correctly is, like I said, it's a slip knot. So it should slide, and that's how you close the rings and stuff. Okay, so it slides. So if you are in the middle of tatting and you need to make this loop bigger, you just slide it forward. If you made it too big, can't control the tension, you just voila. Okay, so as you're first starting out, if you slide it just to make sure that you flip the knot correctly, that's great. Okay. Whew! We did our first knot. So we're going to go again. Okay. Under and over. Flip. Okay, we can see that it's flipped. Our thread's different colors, which helps. Okay, and then we're going to go towards ourselves, over, under. Okay, so now we have our second knot. It will focus, which it won't. Fabulous. Okay. Voila. I feel like there was something I needed to say, but I can't remember. Still slides, so we know we are Gucci, okay? So, I'm going to add, oh yes, so how I hold my shuttle. So as you can see, you can probably see, I just pass it to different fingers. I switch it between my, like this and this to go over and under the knot. Other people will go like this and do that. See, I can't do that part as well. I also see people who like wrap it around their hands and do interesting things. So, you know, it's whatever feels right to you. I thought that I wouldn't be able to get faster with the way I was holding the shuttle, but I think I've been fine. So, whatever feels right to you, because to mine it's passing with different fingers that feels right to me. So, I've made 4 stitches. Me. If it will. Anyways, there's 4 there. Okay? So they're each comprised of like a half stitch. 2 half stitches. So we got 4 whole stitches. So now we're going to make a picot. Let me get my picot gauge. So a picot is a little loop of thread between 2 knots. Okay? We're going to put the picot between the 4th and 5th stitch. So to make that picot, and here are picot gauges. Okay, which I'll probably show how to use later, but it's really, I didn't start using picot gauges until I was like, started to make jewelry and like stuff. So you can measure picots with your eyes. Anyways, you'll understand in a second. So we're gonna make the first half of the stitch. Flip the knot, and we are not going to pull this thread all the way. We'll leave it like right there. Okay, so you see that loop of thread? So I hold it with my thumb. Here, let me make it a little bit bigger. So to whatever your desired size is. Okay, hold it. And then do the second half of your stitch. Pull that tight. And that is a picot. So the point of the picot comb, not picot comb, oh my gosh. The point of the picot gauge is while you're making the picot, you can do that to measure the size of it. But we don't need that. If you're like if you plan on entering your patterns into your finished pieces into fairs, or you just want it to be like really high quality or whatever, you're going to want to use a picot gauge. If you're doing a fair, they will measure it. Okay, so now we've done 4 more stitches. A little piece of fuzz. Okay, so I'm going to do another picot. Again, first half of the stitch. And I just don't pull it all the way back. Ooh. These might not be the same size, but it's fine because this is practice. Okay. And then do the second half. Okay. Voila. And I'll do 3 more. So, and sometimes as I go, as this ring gets smaller, if I'm nearing the end, I'll just slip my pinky out so that I don't have to make this bigger. Because eventually, what we're going to do now is we're going to close it. So, to make it bigger, just to close it can sometimes be a pain. So, to close our ring, we're just going to, you're going to want to put your fingers right there and hold it, and then just pull the shuttle thread. So, this is why they all need to be slip knots. And they have to slide on the shuttle thread because you're going to pull it shut. And you have made your first ring. So I see a lot of beginners who just make rings all on the same strand. So they make their first one and then they just, and start again, which is great. I'm going to show you how to make a chain. So if you want to practice by just making rings and chains and rings and chains, that's probably a good idea. You can do a lot with just the basics. So, okay, I need to explain what I'm doing. Okay, here's our shuttle thread. We're going to take our shuttle, put it aside. So when I wound up my shuttle, I did not cut it away from the ball. Okay, if you did cut it, you can just tie back a knot, reattach it. Okay, so you can see that this ball thread is right here, and the shuttle thread is over here. We're not worrying about it right now. Take the ball, so hold this ring between your fingers, right? Take this thread and wrap it over, and instead of going in a circle, you're going to wrap it a couple times on your pinky, so that's nice and tight. You don't want it moving anywhere, right? And then you're probably going to have to bring this one in. Bring your shuttle in. And the way we make knots is the same. So, let's make... So pull it all the way back. Here. You don't really want... And you still flip the knot and everything. Nothing's changed except for this string wrapped around our hand. Oh my gosh. Okay. You'll also notice, I did this without explaining, that we reversed work. So when we were doing the ring, we were holding it this way. Okay. And so we turned it upside down. Okay. So we reversed work and did that. And lots of patterns, they'll have RW for reverse work. Most of the time, if you're switching from, at least most of the time in my experience, if you're switching from rings to chains, you'll reverse work, but not always. So you need to watch your pattern. Okay. So we have the first half of our stitch and it's pressed right up against that, nice and tight, because we don't want gaps because they're ugly. Now we do the second half of our stitch and pull. Okay, so now we have our first stitch. Ooh. Okay, so we'll just make a couple more. So eventually you'll get pretty fast, and you can, like, over time my hands have gotten more sensitive, so to speak. So like Picots, I can measure without having to look at them sometimes, just by like feel, and you can feel when the knot flips. So to make a Picot, same process, nothing's different. Okay. So a lot of times this is how it looks, and then I just scoot it down. Okay, and then if you need more thread on your hand, you just loosen it up and retighten it. Sometimes there will be like, you can find, and it's different depending on your size of the thread, but you can find like the perfect number of times to wrap it around to where it will be tight. But then if you apply enough force, it'll get bigger, but normally, anyways. Okay. So now we're gonna make our second ring. So take this thread off, you don't need it anymore once you're done with it. Probably, with the size of the Picot, we probably should have made this longer. You'll see why in a second. Anyways, doesn't matter. This is just practice. So now, that's what it looks like. There are no gaps and whatever. So now, we are going to make our next ring. So we're going to flip it. And the whole flipping thing, like reversing work really got me when I first started, because I would like flip it from side. You don't do none of that side to side. Whenever you reverse work, it's just this way or this way. There's no other flipping going on. None. Okay. So we just went like this. So now we're flipping it and going like this. So we're going to prepare for our ring again. So let's bring out more thread, wrap it around our hand, and I will show you how to do a join. And then once we finish this, you will know all the basics. Okay, so again, let's do our first stitch, and we're going to do 4 stitches. Okay, so last time we did 4 picot, now we're going to do 4 stitches and then join to the picot. Okay, I have my 4 stitches, so watch very closely. Some shuttles will have a pick and some will have a crochet hook, and it's for things like this. There's other things that you can do, so I'm going to take my crochet hook, which is tiny, specifically for lace. Okay, so here's what you have. I'm going to lay, we want to join to this picot, okay, because we want these 2 rings connected. So I'm going to put my crochet hook through here and bring this thread connected to my fingers up. Okay. So this is what we have. We have not touched our shuttle thread yet. We have laid that down for now. We just have this one through here. So now, make sure that these threads don't get twisted, right? So like this would be it if it was twisted. It would be like this. We don't want it like that. Sometimes the thread will twist as you like work with it more, and you can just like lift up your hand and let your shuttle spin out. And it'll spin because the thread will sometimes twist. So if you're having problems with small loops like these twisting. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are going to take our shuttle and pass it under this. From the bottom up. So now this is what we have. So I'm going to tighten my finger. Slowly. See, if you tighten it too much, it'll like do weird things with the picot. So just want to tighten it enough. And then you just do another stitch to lock it in place. Okay, and there's different types of joins. That's just the easiest one. So that's what we will start out with. Okay, and then you continue on with your pattern. Okay, and then picot. Whatever. I'm not really worrying about the picot size right now. Oh yes, and then when you're closing, I like to like leave my fingers in it and take them out one by one, because this thread, like I said, sometimes it'll start twisting as you work with it. So you can lift up this hand and just let your shuttle dangle and it will spin like this, and that will get all the twists out. So sometimes this, especially with smaller threads, it'll be hard to close. So leave your fingers in while you close and just like take them out slowly. And that'll help keep it from twisting. And then you're going, once it gets small, you're going to want to sandwich it between your fingers so that the stitches don't get messed up. Okay, and so now you have made 2 rings and a chain. So if we were going to keep going with this and make like an edging, for example, what we would do is we would flip it, reverse work, and then wrap the ball thread around our finger and keep going. Instead of using a ball thread, you can also wind another shuttle and connect 2 different shuttles and do it that way. You will see continuous thread method come up in some patterns, which all that means is you take this, wind it up, you leave a bunch of thread and wind that up, and there's no like knot in the middle. You wind up 2 shuttles without cutting in between doing it, if that makes sense, hopefully. Because sometimes you can just wind this up, cut it, wind up another shuttle, and then tie a knot and attach them. So the continuous thread method is just a different way of doing that. But anyways, yeah, so this is like the basic type of thing. You could do a lot with this. I mean, I've sold items that just had this pattern pretty much, where it was just, ignore my nails, but I've sold items where it was just rings and chains and rings and chains. So they are fun to make. You can use it as edging. Well, it was used as edgings back in the day. Anyways, so this cute little moment going on. Yeah. So that is how you tat. At least the beginning of how to tat. Not quite witchcraft, but some would consider it witchcraft.